Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome to the final Sunday of Advent, the fourth Sunday of Advent. The fourth Sunday of Advent actually heralds in peace. It's supposed to be for the angels, and yeah, it's the purple candle, the last purple candle. I know my picture is wrong at the beginning. It's supposed to be the last purple candle, and last week was supposed to be the pink candle. This is the angels candle. The announcement that peace is coming to earth, because Jesus was believed to be peace and everything changed. So I have a little bit of this to go through for the fourth Sunday, and then I will put the topper on for the Christmas Eve, which is when my time slot is happening. For the Christmas Eve slot, I'm just looking for any drills. I know there's wires further down. I might do them now. There's maybe 5 of them. I've felt a bit more of the canvas on the left hand side, and some of it has gone less than sticky, or less than optimal sticky. So I need to get my wet wipes. Very handy having a baby in the house sometimes, but I need to get my wet wipes out and give it a bit of a polish so that they stick. So I might be slightly off camera there. And that, but I think that might be, I don't think there's any wires in this section. This is going up into the darker colours. Alright, so last Sunday before Christmas. It is Christmas in 2 sleeps, 3 sleeps, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 sleeps. It's Christmas in 3 sleeps, depending on when, of course, I upload the video. It's very hard with the time zones, like we're effectively a day ahead of the US. So it's very hard. Do I launch it for my Sunday, or do I launch it for your Sunday? And a couple of people did comment on my last video going, it's still Saturday here. So yeah. I usually release my videos into the wild at midnight Aussie time, which I think is early morning for the US. So yes, a little bit odd, and I've just seen the sneaky white in the bauble. Yes, it's a bauble, Ashley. Alright. I think what I might do is steal, because there's a one kind of over there on the left. So I'm going to steal this one. I can. Maybe we just whoops, slide it on over this little AB while I can. Alright, so I thought I would start getting into answering some tag kind of questions, just to maybe kind of point the way. If you have watched any of my whipping chats before where I've used tags are all well and good until I kind of go, oh, do you remember that story? So yeah, that's what I'm expecting to happen. So the first question on this particular tag will take me off in a tangent, and it's the favourite Christmas movie. Now, being from Ireland, there's something quite poignant about the Christmas period. Everything shuts down on Christmas Day. Everything. Nothing is open. Nothing was open, at least when I was a kid. And when I was a teenager, and when I was an adult. I don't know what's happening these days, because I've been out of there for about 20 years. Nothing flies, no boats, no trains, no planes, no buses, no public transport. Okay? So having your family travel in from overseas is a huge deal. So there were competitions always run. And there were always the expats who lived over in Australia, and they'd win the prize to get home for Christmas and all of this kind of thing. So the airports was always a big deal. So this movie that I absolutely love, it's got all the best English actors. It's Love Actually. Who doesn't like Love Actually? It's Hugh Grant as the Prime Minister. It's Bill Nye as the pompous pop star. In the UK, there was always a Christmas #1. There was always a Christmas song for as long as I can remember. Shakin' Stevens, I think, did a Christmas song one year, and you know, things like this. So there was Wham doing Last Christmas, or George Michael, or whoever. I think it was George Michael doing it as a solo. You know, there was those kind of epic moments around the Christmas period. There was a TV guide that would be released in Ireland, and it would cover the Irish TV channels and the English TV channels. Now there was only maybe, so what would there be? There'd be the 2 Irish, there'd be the 2 English, there'd be the liberal English, and then there'd be the, holy cow, I can't believe that's on TV, Welsh. That was Channel 4. So that's 6. And then there might be a couple of stray kind of tag-along kind of channels, right? So this TV guide would come out, and it would come out on Saturday, I think was the first day of the guide, and it would run through to the Friday night. I think that's how I remember it. But the guide came out. So normally it was a weekly guide. Over the Christmas period, they did 2 weeks. So you got to see what was happening in Christmas week and in New Year. In Ireland, the main TV channel was RTE, or Radio Telefís Éireann. So RTE always ran ads. BBC didn't run ads. BBC had a different policy with their license holders, but Ireland, we had to pay for our TV license, and we also had ads on TV. So Christmas Day, no ads. Christmas Day, you had blockbuster movies back to back on the TV. It was the best time to ever be at home and watch the movies. So you'd get things like the classics. It would be the Miracle on, what is it, 31st Street or whatever it is. There would be things like not Harry Potter, probably Harry Potter now, but there would be things like Mary Poppins, or there would be some really, really old classics. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was always on. So things like that would be your regular staple, you know, oh God, it's Christmas time. Do we really have to watch this crummy movie with the, you know, the ugly sweaters and all that kind of crap? Yes, you did. And you did do it, and you loved it, and it was Christmas, and it was cold outside, and you had the heating on and everything else, and family were just kind of meeting up with each other, and yeah, everything you hated but you loved. So Love Actually summed it all up, and it was absolutely a hoot. You had some amazing actors really kind of taking the piss out of what happened around the Christmas period. The music in the movie was just the business. But the bit that got me every single time, and still gets me now, is the airport scene at the very end, where they do the montage of all the people meeting at the airport, and it's real footage, and it's just... It just pulls at my heartstrings, being an Irish, knowing, you know, there's people who haven't seen their family for years, and I'm now one of those people. I'm one of those people who, you know, fly into Dublin airport and my family is there to meet me, or they're not, because, you know, they're the wrong side of the city or whatever, and we're just hiring a car. So yeah, it's all the feels. So yeah, Love Actually, very much so. Are you on the naughty list or nice list? I don't know. Depends on who you ask. Is it my husband snickered? Thanks, dear.
Ask me.
Yeah. I'm not asking you. I don't know. What the hell is a naughty or nice list? I think that's just blackmail, to be honest. I don't do the Santa thing, so don't do the naughty or nice. Shows an embarrassing Christmas photo. Don't probably have any. My husband just said he can take one. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay. Have you ever had a white Christmas? That's a really good question. Have I ever had a white Christmas? It did snow in Hobart one year on Christmas Day in the middle of summer. Go figure. It didn't last. It was up on the mountain because the mountain's that bit much higher up than the rest of the world. It did snow in Ireland. There's always a bet in Ireland for whether or not it's going to snow. But the criteria is it's got to snow at Dublin Airport, and it's potentially got to be a certain amount of thickness for it to qualify as snow. So yes, you can lay a bet as to whether or not there is going to be snow every Christmas in the Irish bookies. But has it snowed? I really don't remember. The year we had the biggest snow, I think, was 1981, maybe 1985. I think it was a pretty vicious winter all around. The whole world had really nasty weather. It was really hot summers and it was really stinking cold winters that particular year. So I think it was just one of those cyclical things. We had snow days off school. There was deep snow all over the road for what you would never get snow. You'd get snow up in the mountain, and that would be it. So, but I don't know that we ever had snow for Christmas. And yeah, there might have been snow up the mountains, up the Wicklow Mountains, if you ever want to Google. Yes, there might have been snow up there. Do you start Christmas shopping on Black Friday or wait until the last minute? Well, Ireland didn't have Black Friday. Here's a funny story. My boys were... Ian would have been maybe 2, and the next one would have been 1. Okay, well, I probably shouldn't have named names. Anyway, the boys were really small. I called them the boys, and then I called the other 2 the kids, because there was the boys, 2-year gap, then the kids. So the boys were young, really young. Like I say, the youngest was pretty young at this stage. I was working, I think, this day, and my then husband was having a work piss up. Now, he reckons he got into some dodgy wine. I reckon he just couldn't stop drinking whatever the hell he was drinking. Either way, he said he was on the train to come home, and every single stop. Now, the Dart line in Ireland was probably 10 to 15 stops from the city to Bray, our home. And every single stop, he's having to get off the Dart, spew on the platform, and then wait for the next train. Well, it got to the point where he ran out of trains. He didn't get very far either, because I think he only ended up getting about maybe 3 or 4 stops. So, here's little old wifey with the 2 kids with plans to go Christmas Eve shopping. We had a big store called Dunn's. Dunn's were doing the very, very first late night opening. They were open, I I think they were open past midnight. They were open 24 hours. The very first time this had happened. It was revolutionary in, you know, little old Stone Age Ireland. It just didn't happen. So the little old wifey gets in the little car with the two boys, dresses them, and we go into town. And we meet the dad as he's looking rather sheepish and rather green around the gills, and he gets in the car. Well, apparently the next thing he remembers is he's parked in a car park with two little kids in the back of the car, and there's no little old wifey. And he had the gall to lecture me and say, how dare I leave him alone in the car with the children while he was so inebriated. Well, that didn't go down too well. The whole point of us going to the store was to actually buy the boys, I think, their Christmas outfits. So it was to, yeah, have the brand new Christmas clothes for Christmas Day the next day. So it's not like I could have put it off or anything. Yes. Another time he had gone drinking, apparently all he could see was me storming down the road, and he could just see the little legs going under the trench coat that I wore to go to work because I was late. And when he got home, his kids were in our neighbour's car, who they were taking the steering wheel off or something, and they were promptly told to say this to their dad, and that was, Daddy's pissed as a fart. Apparently he passed out upstairs, clothes got lobbed out of a window, and somebody else looked after the kids for us because my ex was too pissed to do anything. Yes, but that was another stormy occasion. There's a few of those. So yeah, that was Christmas one year when yes, I waited till the last minute to go shopping. I was kind of going, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, last minute shopping. Seriously, don't do it. Like I'd said, I think in last weekend's video, the shopping debacle in my supermarket was that every man and their dog left it until Christmas Eve to go shopping, and the famine must have been coming because they bought out everything. The shopping trolleys were completely overloaded. Now the shopping trolleys in Ireland are bigger than the Australian trolleys. So yeah, coming over here was like, oh my god, these shopping trolleys are so small. I think you call them shopping carts over in the States. But yeah, the trolleys were really, really big by comparison. So these were huge. I mean, you're talking in Ireland £300, which was an awful lot of money. A weekly shop for me might have been 50. £300 of shopping in that one period. You know, and a lot of this stuff is perishable things. So yeah, I don't quite understand what happened during the Christmas period. But yeah, a lot of people would leave it till the last minute, and I don't know when they were expecting to go back shopping again, but it was Armageddon. The shelves were empty by the end of it all. So yeah, I didn't quite get that. I usually had it planned out what I was getting the boys. I didn't know anything about AliExpress actually until I met my current husband. I don't even think I knew it existed until I met him. So I didn't know about the whole bargain shopping and shopping in advance or anything like that. I've got numbers mixed up. That's why I'm thrown off. Right. Can you name all of Santa's reindeer? From the song, it's Dasher and Dancer and Donner and Vixen and Blitzen. No, I don't know. No. I do have that poem to read on Christmas Eve. I think it's just the night before Christmas. I have that poem to read, and I think it's in that poem that they actually name all the reindeer. and I'm very vague on the song that names them too. On Dasher and Dancer and Donner and Blitzen, on something and something and no, can't do, no, can't, just not working. It's not one of those songs that I would have stuck in my head with the tune that I might be able to kind of sing along and kind of get there. Yeah, sorry. I don't know if I would win a pub quiz being able to name the reindeer. And there's Rudolph, of course. Okay. Is your Christmas tree real or fake? I've skipped a question, but that's okay. You don't need to know the order of these. Our Christmas tree currently is fake. Our Christmas trees, because this is my 4th Christmas with my now husband. My Christmas tree has been fake for a few years. In Ireland, I would try and do a real Christmas tree. And the Christmas trees are different in Ireland than they are in Australia. I think in Australia, pine trees in the Christmas tree sense just don't quite work. They're scutty little branches in comparison to the... we used to have 2 fir trees in Ireland. There was the Nobilis, which was the big, long, shaggy Christmas trees. Loved them. And then there was the little short pine needle trees. I can't think of what they're called. And they would have the sticky out branches and the, you know, they would kind of fork like that kind of branch. And they were the other version. Now I hated that other version. I hated the short pine needles. Loved the Nobilis, but the Nobilis was a bit more kind of, I don't know, shaggy, and you could sometimes get these, you know, half bare trees by doing it. My sister always used to get the Nobilis, and I think we always used to get the short pine needles. I absolutely love the sound of pine needles going up a vacuum, rattling up the metal tube. Absolutely love that sound. So in Ireland as a kid, always had a real Christmas tree. Loved the smell of the pine. We used to go to a place not too far from home, a garden centre, I think it was, Sexton's, and Tony Sexton was the guy, but he was also involved in Scouts, so kind of knew him as Tony Sexton. Anyway, this garden centre would sell the trees, and we'd go up and we'd get the tree, and we would bring it home and put it in the thing of water. We had a special kind of thingamajiggy for the little reservoir for the water, and the tree would get watered through the Christmas period, but it would still get really, really dry in the central heated houses. And that's funny because only last week I watched a video of I think it was an advisory from one of the fire people saying this is why you should water your Christmas tree, and it showed a Christmas tree literally going poof, and it just ignited and the room just disappeared in blazing flames. Quite incredible. But yes, we watered our tree, but probably not as good as it should have. But I did love having the Christmas tree as a real tree in the house. I did try popcorn one year on the Christmas tree. Yeah, that was a colossal failure. It looks cool on the movies. I tried. You stick a needle through popcorn, it just disintegrates. It's like, yeah, just didn't want to play. We did have a little artificial tree, but I think I vetoed it once I got a chance to have a say, and we ended up using it to put Christmas cards on. But we also had kind of strings that we would hang the Christmas cards. We got lots and lots of Christmas cards when I was a kid. It was the thing. You'd get lots of Christmas cards. You're all right, Sophie. You're supposed to be in bed, Missy. We'd always get lots of Christmas cards when I was a kid. It was just a done thing. You actually sent Christmas cards to people, and you received Christmas cards as well. So yeah, there was different strings with the Christmas cards and all of that kind of stuff. So home got quite decorative in comparison to what I did as a parent. yeah, sometimes to my regret. I've been a bit too fuddy-duddy. But yes, loved the real Christmas trees. When does your family put up your Christmas tree and who decorates it? Now, it can go up on the first weekend of Christmas. December, sorry. Excuse me. And it doesn't come down again until Christmas Eve. Sorry, not Christmas Eve. Oh. It doesn't come down again until the Feast of the Epiphany, the 6th of January. That was always a rule when I was growing up. The tree stayed up until the 6th of January. After that it came down, and then the spring sales started in the stores and stuff. Nowadays I think it's a bit more different. But that was my thing that we kind of had as a bit of a benchmark. When did it go up? I have no idea. It may have gone up before Advent started, so it may have gone up the first weekend of Advent, and in some cases that's going to be in November because it's the movable feast kind of thing. Oh, that's mean. I'm talking. My husband brought me one of these. It's Mars ice cream, and I swear they're about half the size than they used to be. It's my favourite ice cream in Ireland. Peeking at gifts or be surprised. When I was a kid I would shake my gifts. It's got, I think it's supposed to be vanilla ice cream. It's kind of cream. It's got the chocolate, which is gorgeous, and it's got caramel. Delicious. My husband's really mean. Alright. Picking gifts or be surprised. I'm actually going to leave the Santa story until Christmas Day. So I might pass on that one. But I did used to shake my gifts. Could I tell what it is before I opened it, kind of thing? Invariably no. I do like seeing people who wrap gifts in a sneaky fashion. So somebody might be getting a CD and they might get a huge box. Actually, it's funny in Love Actually. Well, it's not really funny. It's a bit tragic, really. In Love Actually, Emma Thompson? Is it Emma Thompson? Anyway, the actress married to oh god, Mr. Sweater, who was having a kind of an affair with the office chick who was a bit of a, I don't know. Anyway, she was putting it all out there. He got her what she thought was going to be a necklace, and it turned out to be a Joni Mitchell CD. And if you watch the movie, Joni Mitchell is actually quite depressing and tragic, and yeah, so she played this. Alan Rickman was also in the movie. I think he was, yes, he was the tragic who fell for the office slut with the short skirt and the come hither kind of look and everything else that was going on in the movie. Let me get that one down and see if there's something else. Show us your ugly sweater if you have one. I have never had an ugly sweater. I do... Oh, that was a crash bang as Sophie rolled over something. I do have a few friends who have ugly t-shirts now. I think the ugly t-shirts is really quite clever. We don't have enough of them here in Australia, and it is hot, so potentially it is t-shirt weather rather than sweater weather. So yeah, it's very much a shame, and there is very much a tradition of doing the whole ugly sweater thing, but I don't and haven't really had a part in that. If I could be under the mistletoe with anyone, who would it be? It would be my husband. And I'm going to say this now, on the record, on video, you know, in front of all you guys. He doesn't kiss me enough. Did you hear that? I said he doesn't kiss me enough. He's distracted with Sophie now. Anyway. He's pretending not to listen. Okay. Feeling the love.
Some things I won't talk about on video.
Oh dear. Does your family have a special holiday recipe you help make? Well, I've shared this before. My mum used to... I'm going to slap my husband in a minute. No, that's okay. Oh man, these are not coming out. Right, there we go. Where did you go? Sneaky A. Alright. Family recipe that I helped make. Yes, Mum did the Christmas cake and Mum did the Christmas pudding, and we used to do the whole give it a stir kind of sharing. So yes, absolutely Mum did. And did I do the Christmas recipes? Yes, I did. I did the baking and the cooking, usually from scratch, and I have talked about that already in my other videos. What else would be a thing would be my coleslaw. My coleslaw is pretty special. It's got secret ingredients in it that my dad passed on to me. I was his taste tester when I was growing up, and I have since passed that kind of crown actually onto my daughter. She was my taste tester. So yeah. Are you pro present wrapper, or do you fail miserably? Well, okay, there's kind of two camps here for this. My husband now doesn't specially wrap Christmas presents. He says that they're already wrapped when they come from China. So you get to open the envelope. So it's not quite a fail, but it's not quite Christmas wrapping either. I actually had a job once as a school student-y thing of wrapping presents one year in a supermarket. Sorry, it was very much a mini mall. It was a very small shopping mall, and I was up in the belfry wrapping presents for the Christmas Santa thing. So I was wrapping all kinds of rubbish, but I learned how to wrap. I probably didn't do brilliant because it was, you know, for kids, but yeah, I did always get a bit of a kick out of doing a nice job at wrapping. Oh, there's a scene actually out of Love Actually with Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, as the kind of Macy's, if you're in Ireland, Switzer's sales assistant, who wrapped the necklace that Alan Rickman was getting for his girlfriend, mistress, whatever the hell, Trollope, and that was all sprigs of holly and ribbon and all sorts of other funny stuff. So yeah, it was a little bit funny seeing how overboard he went, but it's very, very true to them going overboard at Christmas time with wrapping. Yes, I like wrapping presents. I would make a big deal of going to my bedroom and wrapping the kids' presents when they were little. Have I ever gone Christmas caroling? I think I have. Can't remember who with. I don't know if it was a church group or not. Might have been a church group. Hang on. Oh, that's so yummy. Alright, excuse me. Alright, Christmas caroling. Yes, I think we did. And I love to sing. I don't particularly think I still haven't used this nuclear sign. I don't think I particularly have a good solo voice. My husband has heard me sing, usually to a CD. I don't know what he thinks of my voice. He's never actually commented. Other than I seem to sing more when I'm stressed than not. I was part of a church and thought it would be too embarrassing, and I didn't think I was good enough, to be honest, to sing on stage. So I went and coordinated the lyrics that would pop up on screen, on the big screen. So that would be me getting my creative juices happening by running the words that people would sing. And I had to know the songs, so it wasn't a case of not knowing the songs or not listening or anything else like that. You had to know them backwards. It was just a case of I didn't think I had what it took to be on stage, front and center, and not that it was artificial, but you had to always be with it. You always had to be in the right frame of mind for leading worship. And I don't know, young kids, and I constantly took a back seat on that, and I let my ex sing, while I ended up out in the back room when we were in one of our churches, with the young boys, and I'm kind of going, why the hell am I coming to church? Just to sit in the back room all on my own. And I used to get so despondent, and I used to kind of rail at God, going, why? It's so not fair, I'm so alone, and all that kind of pity party kind of stuff. But it was a lonely time having very little kids, and I did love singing, absolutely love singing. I think music for me, just it makes my heart sing. It's not just a head sing thing. I think Amber put some words up on her Facebook recently, and it was something to do with, you know, music just, I don't know, it just soothes the soul. It's incredible, and it can be much misaligned or maligned, if it even might be the word. So yes, I have. Oh, one thing I did try actually doing. Now, I don't know if you would have heard of this. It was an Australian production. It came over to Ireland. It was called the Jerusalem Passion, and it was quite funny in the way that we would actually take the piss out of, which is tease. We would take the piss out of the was it Jerusalem, and it was very Aussie, and it was just like, oh my god, it's almost like me taking the mickey out of the Kiwis for their accents, and or accents. Yeah, but I actually auditioned for this when I was pregnant with Ian, and ended up passing the audition, which was a solo sing that you had to, you know, prove you can actually sing. And I absolutely loved this story of what was it? I think it might have been the story of Revelation. But this was, you know, a brand new production. I had it on CD. I didn't keep the CD for some reason, or I got it on tape rather than CD because I had the Walkman. I really regret not actually having the production now. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. There was one song and I couldn't sing it without crying. No matter how many damn times I sang this thing, I would still burst into tears. It was ridiculous. It's kind of like, you know, you're supposed to be performing this thing, girl. Stop crying. But yeah, very, very emotional and moving piece. What tops my Christmas tree? Well, a little tin star tops it currently. In my previous house, a drink can actually festooned the top of the tree. I don't know what happened to the star one year, and we would always make the tree up and have a drink of Coke, soft drink, whatever it was, and it got finished and I put it on the top of the tree or something. It was a Coca-Cola can, something like that. Anyway, the running joke continued, and we had a Coke can or a soft drink can on the top of the tree for the next however many years. So yeah, we went a little bit different. I used to have, It wasn't a foil star, but it was a silver star when I was growing up. And because I was the youngest, I got to put the star on the top of the tree. That was kind of the tradition. And I kind of liked the whole tradition, I suppose, that Mum and Dad had and kept. I probably didn't understand a lot of it back then, and the significance of what it would do for me and the things that they would do as kind of part of their norm. You know, we would go for drives in the car and Dad would sing in the car. The Irish can sing, what can I say? So Dad would sing these stupid songs. So they might be things like The Bear Went Over the Mountain and, you know, 10 green bottles of beer on the wall, you know, those kind of things, and the rounds. And we'd all sing, it was probably just me. I'm not sure if my siblings were around, or they might have been singing as well initially. But we would do these rounds in the car. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the rounds. So to be, you know, you have a kind of like a 4-line verse, and you'd sing one line, and then you'd start the second line, and then the second person would start the first line, and they would, you know, round. And you go round and round. So some of it might be, you know, row, row your boat, kind of silly stuff as well. They weren't necessarily serious songs. Dad would sometimes sing some Irish ballads, and ballads actually tell a story, so they don't have individual verses and choruses. Well, they kind of do, but they tell a story from beginning to end through the process as well. So yeah, that was very much an Irish culture thing. But they would also play cards with me, and I remember playing whist and canasta and sevens, and I think we played gin rummy, and all of this was when Mum was still alive and well, so this is probably all before I was 10, and they're teaching me these card games and, you know, time with Mum. And I remember one stage actually nestling down into the armchair next to Mum and being told, "Oh, you're getting big." So I've had those armchairs, and I'm kind of thinking, how the hell did a child fit in next to an adult on these chairs? I don't know how I fitted. Anyway. So yeah, very much took for granted what Mum and Dad did for me when I was little. And wish I had a better memory to remember a lot of those things. I really feel like my memory has let me down big time from whatever it has had to go through. My husband's looking at me because, well, he's got a brain injury. He's got an excuse for why he's got dodgy memories. Do you make New Year's resolutions? And I'll get to the second part of that question in a second. Yes, I have done in the past. No, I don't anymore. I think a New Year's resolution is, well, let's be Irish about this. New Year's resolutions, they're a load of shite. They just don't work. Not for me, and probably not for anyone else. No. Can't do them, and have learned now not to bother doing them either.
Lack of support from a supportive partner.
No, I don't think it is a lack of support from a supportive partner. I think it's just a... I know, you'd make these grand decisions, and they were never sustainable, or...
Well, if you're going to make a change, it might as well be a memorable date.
Yeah, if you're going to make a change, it should be a memorable date. If you're going to have a significant thing. But to be honest, I think if it's going to be sustainable, you've got to actually have the mindset to just be ready and do it. And like, I've done Weight Watchers. I've, you know, lost weight, and it's, you know, the leading up to it, you're kind of going, oh God, I don't want to do this, or I do want to do this, and when will I do it? And oh geez, I feel fat, and, you know, I'm never going to get there. And eventually you just go, you know what, enough's enough. Decisions made, it's happening, that's it. And that's kind of what I think it comes down to. So from the point of view of, does it need to happen on New Year's Day? No, not anymore. I don't think so. So no, I don't make resolutions anymore, and if I'm going to make a decision, I will just get around and make a bloody decision. Do I stick with them? No. I've tried making a habit. Absolutely. Journal. You know, the journaling worked when I was a teenager, and I probably had more time available to me. There are gaps when I didn't journal, and they were probably the busiest times when I really should have been journaling, much to my regret. But no, I didn't stick with New Year's resolutions. They just petered out way too quickly. They might have made it through to half of January, and that would be about it. If you have made a successful New Year's resolution, what is it that you've done that's different, that's actually made it last? What have you done as a life-changing decision on the 1st of January, or even in the lead-up, that has been sustainable for you? Put that in the comments. I do have a friend of mine over in WA. Sadly, he had a brain... he may have had cancer, he may have had... something happened anyway. He lost his speech centre, which is much to everyone's regret, because his big thing was linguistics. There is going to be a series using some of his work in the future, so stand by on that one. He learned a new thing every single year. So he would learn French one year, and he would learn to cook another year, and another year he might do something completely different. So, but every year he was learning something new. This was his thing. He would learn something new. He would never stop learning, and yeah, I thought it was brilliant. So one year he tried mastering how to make tarte tatin. Tarte tatin, if you've ever been to a French restaurant, is like an upside down apple cake. But to get it right, I think, is where it takes the skill. He learned how to make tarte tatin. Now, I've seen upside down pineapple cake photos. It actually doesn't look that hard. So I'm not quite sure why it was so significantly hard for him to learn tarte tatin. Maybe it was just because he was a boy who didn't cook. I don't know. And probably can't ask him now, because it got to the point where he had to relearn how to make a tea, and he couldn't get the sequence in the right order, and all those kind of shitty stuff that happens when your brain gets mangalated beyond what it was created to be. Anyway, that's enough of that one. Now the last question on this: you've been granted one Christmas wish, what will it be? Whew. If I've been granted one Christmas wish, well, it's kind of got to incorporate quite a bit. I think it would be to get back to Ireland for a Christmas. My dad's 91. I know he doesn't want to think about popping his clogs anytime soon, but he's 91. It's inevitable he's probably going to be dead in the next 10 years. And while I might not want that to happen, I think feasibly, we're not really designed anymore to go much beyond the 100. He's doing really well at the moment. He's living independently. He's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He's 91 or 92. I can never remember how old he is. He was 88 when I was 44. So, yeah, he's 91. He's turning 92 next year. Alright. So, yeah, it would be for my husband and I and Sophie to fly to Ireland to spend Christmas in Ireland. But then that means I'm a million miles away from my Australian family, my kids. And there is the other Christmas wish that I would wish to have my Irish kids all together for Christmas with me and my husband, who my eldest won't have a bar of soap with, and there's all kinds of stuff there. And then there's the ex, and he now has a new partner, and I don't know how it would all work. But yeah, if by some miracle it would be family all together, shared Christmas or whatever, it would be family. But I think also it's the weather. Now, look, to be honest, my husband has never known anything other than an Australian Christmas, so him having an Irish Christmas would probably freak him the hell out. So yeah, me having a bitterly cold Christmas. Look, I was in Ireland in 2010. We went over for the Christmas period and it was freezing cold. I wore my Magnum boots, which were my steel capped boots. I had coats. I had actually had an Ostel shipping jacket. It was a Musto jacket, which is a good sailing jacket. So I was warm as toast in this, and I had the boots, you know, with the proper toes, and, you know, woolen socks and everything else. So I was well wrapped up, and that was fine. Yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't know that I would cope with the cold anymore. My hip doesn't like the cold, and it can actually tell the weather, unfortunately. When it gets really cold, I'm kind of going, why in the heck am I getting cold? I'm starting to get out of it at the moment because we're kind of getting into the 20-degree consistent days. But the odd day I've had this spring have been kind of like, what is going on? It's a warm day, but my hip is aching me. And then it turns out that the next 2 days are going to be absolutely biting cold. And I'm thinking, oh, there's snow in the mountain, or there's, you know, some kind of weather change, and my hip is feeling it. It's like, oh. So I'm starting to read the weather by how my hip feels. And I know there's going to be many of you who suffer from osteoarthritis, and you would go, oh my god, I so relate to that. I'm still kind of getting, yeah, I'm 47, I'm still getting used to this body as it's aging under me. Yeah.
20.
No, I didn't say I was 27. Yeah, so I don't know that I would really want to be in the cold for very long, but yeah. Christmas in winter, when it's supposed to be in the right time of year. You know, Santa and the snow and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Christmas, so we had New York on New Year's. That was really cool. It was really wet, it was really soggy, there was slush all over the city in New York, but there was snow and there was slushy puddles. And I remember going geocaching in the snow with my youngest boy, and we had an absolute ball. It was great fun. Great memories. And we hung around the Alice in Wonderland statue in Central Park trying to find a geocache. We found something that said, "It's not here," and it was like, what the hell? So I don't know if somebody found it or what the heck happened, but yeah, it was on that trip that I found part of the Berlin Wall that I have talked to you about. And yeah, it was a very special time with me, with my family. It was the first time in 10 years that I had been back, and I really felt that I wasn't putting up with my ex's shit at the time. I did my own thing at Christmas instead of doing his beck and call, and yeah, things are very different that trip. So yeah, here I am. I'm at the end of my tag. Let me just jump back to my program. There you go. So I can see what you're seeing. We've got this little bit of garland here, and yes, we get the tinsel and the top of the tree and the star, that's going to be Christmas Eve. I get to put those on as I open up the Christmas Day premieres for everyone. So yeah, this is supposed to be the time of peace. This is supposed to be the time that conflicts get resolved and families maybe talk to each other when they might not have talked to each other any time of the rest of the year. And this is the time where you might actually go to church when you might not have gone to church for the rest of the year. Whatever you do at Christmas time that's a little bit different from the norm, I hope you do find peace. And yes, that fourth candle is now lit. And yeah, Christmas is in 3 sleeps. Or 4 sleeps, depending on what time you see this. But yeah, 3 sleeps. 3 sleeps till Christmas. If you have people in your life that do Christmas Santa kind of things, get excited. And yeah, have fun with your kids if you have kids. Have fun with your pets if you have pets. Get them Christmas presents too. Yeah, don't necessarily do it alone if you don't need to. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming along with me as I build my Christmas tree. And yeah, we'll get the star on the tree next couple of days. Alright, bye for now. Have a good Christmas.